Josh Smith with GottaBeMobile.com. Today I'm going to give you a look at the Galaxy S4 versus the iPhone 6 using two iPhone 6 mock-ups that represent the rumors of a 4.7-inch and a 5.5-inch iPhone 6. Now you're probably familiar with the Samsung Galaxy S5. This came out about 2 years ago, so if you purchased it on an early upgrade type plan, you may be eligible for an upgrade, or maybe you're just sick of it and looking at paying an early termination fee and jumping to a new carrier, or paying full price for an iPhone 6. Here's a look at how it compares to these two devices. The biggest difference is, of course, size. Now, if we compare a 4.7-inch screen iPhone to the Galaxy S4, which uses a 5-inch screen, you'll see that they are about the same size. No matter how you stack these two together, the iPhone 6 is maybe a tiny bit thinner and maybe just a hair taller than the Galaxy S4. Not something you're going to notice in day-to-day real-life use. So these are essentially the same size. If you're thinking of switching and you want the same overall feel in terms of reach with your hand, being able to hit those corners, that's something that we're able to do on the iPhone 6 with 4.7-inch screen. Now when we go over to a 5.5-inch screen, that's where we start to see some differences. As you can see here, the iPhone 6 mock-up has a wider and a taller design, and that's not surprising considering the screen is half an inch bigger. This is actually a little bit taller than the Galaxy Note 3, so if you've used that device, you can get a good feel for the difference in overall size. If you check out the link in the description, you'll see our full spec comparison. Suffice to say, there are some advantages to both devices. We have a slightly larger screen on the Galaxy S4 than we do on the iPhone 6 4.7, and we also get a higher resolution on this phone. The other big differences are in camera. We're expecting an 8 to maybe 13 megapixel camera with optical image stabilization on the iPhone 6 compared to a 13 megapixel rear-facing camera on the Galaxy S4. We should see a return of the True Tone flash that debuted on the iPhone 5S that delivers a better, nicer looking warmth and color to photos that require you to use the flash. And you can see a full rundown of the differences in specs over on Gotta Be Mobile. From a design standpoint, you need to know three things. The iPhone 6 uses an all-metal back. These bottom and top areas previously were glass. The new design uses metal, and there are breaks here and here, as well as likely a break in some special material for the Apple logo to allow Wi-Fi, cellular, and GPS to communicate through that metal. The Galaxy S4 uses plastic. Now, one advantage of that is we have a removable back, which is part number two. You can pull this off and you can buy wireless charging backs. You can buy small cheap adapters that will sit between this and your battery and plug into these contacts right here and add wireless charging. There's also S-View cases, etc. that replace that back. Now with the back off, there are two things you can do which set the Galaxy S4 apart from the iPhone 6. You can put a micro SD card in here to add more storage. I believe 64 gigabyte, maybe even up to 128 gigabytes of additional storage. That's pretty massive because you can add that after you buy the phone. The iPhone 6, you got to pick your storage as you get started. Now you can also pull this battery out and you're going to be able to swap a new one in. That way you can keep going without buying an external battery pack. And as far as the displays go, we have a 4.7-inch, a 5-inch, and a 5.5-inch display as we run through these. The Galaxy S4 uses a 1920 by 1080 resolution display. That's the same resolution that most HD TVs offer. On the iPhone 6 with a 4.7-inch and on the 5.5, one rumor suggests we'll see a 1704 by 960 resolution. We're also starting to hear rumors that iOS 8, which is the software that will debut on the iPhone 6, could support an even higher resolution, but nothing's set in stone yet, so we won't know the exact resolution of these devices until we get a little bit closer to the announcement, and possibly until the day of the announcement, based on all the different types of leaks that we see coming out. If you want to know more about how these devices compare, check the link in the description below this video and you'll be able to find out more about the Galaxy S4 versus both iPhone 6 models. Thanks for watching.